Listen to me. If you've ever been underestimated, doubted, rejected, betrayed, or told you're not enough, this is for you. Every single one of us has felt that sting. Someone didn't believe in you. Someone left you behind. Someone laughed at your dreams. And in that moment, you had two choices. Shrink into their story about you, or build a new story so undeniable that no one could ever question your worth again. And here's the truth. Building is the greatest revenge. Not screaming back at them, not trying to prove them wrong with words, but proving them wrong with who you become. The most powerful way to silence every critic, every doubter, every hater, is to transform into the person you were born to be. People waste years of their lives chasing validation. They think if they get approval, if they get applause, if they get that one person to notice them, then they'll feel complete. But that's weakness. That's giving away your power. You don't need to beg for anyone's recognition. You don't need to fight to convince anyone of your value. What you need is to commit to yourself so fully, so relentlessly, that no one can deny you when they see you rise. The most beautiful revenge isn't payback, it's progress. It's walking into a room as the person they said you'd never be. It's achieving the thing they swore was impossible for you. It's building a life so strong, so unshakable, that you don't even have time to care about who once doubted you. Because here's what happens when you build yourself. The pain becomes fuel, the rejection becomes fire. The heartbreak becomes hunger, and you take all of that energy and you turn it into action. You stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for support. You stop waiting for them to see your worth. You see your worth, you build your worth, and suddenly their opinion becomes irrelevant. But let me be clear. Building is not easy. It's not glamorous. It's not instant. It's work. It's sacrifice. It's showing up when you don't feel like it. It's training your mind to stop being a victim and start being a creator. It's deciding every single day, I will not be defined by who left, by who doubted, by who mocked. I will be defined by who I choose to become. Think about it. What's more powerful, sending a message to your ex saying, you'll regret losing me, or walking past them years later as the most confident, fulfilled, unstoppable version of yourself? What's more powerful? Screaming back at your critics or letting your results do all the talking? Building wins every time. So the question is, what do you need to build? Is it your mind, your discipline, your health, your finances, your relationships, your confidence? You already know the areas where you've been settling, where you've been letting life happen to you instead of shaping it. That's where you start. You don't build the whole house in a day. You lay the first brick, and tomorrow another brick and another, until one day you look up and realize you've built a fortress out of what was once brokenness. And let me tell you something, the world can't ignore someone who keeps showing up. You want revenge? Stop talking about it. Stop thinking about them. Use that energy to build you, because when you're truly building, you stop chasing. You stop waiting. You stop proving. You just rise. And the world has no choice but to notice. So I challenge you today, not tomorrow, make a decision. Decide what part of you needs to be rebuilt, redefined, reborn. Decide that you will not live small just because someone once tried to make you feel small. Decide that your life will be the greatest statement, the greatest answer, the greatest revenge. Because at the end of the day, they don't need to clap for you. They don't need to believe in you. They don't even need to remember you. But you, when you look in the mirror, you need to know that you became the person you were meant to be. That's the power of building. That's the greatest revenge. Most people live their entire lives chasing scraps of validation. They're running around like starving dogs, waiting for someone else to throw them a bone. Do you like me? Am I good enough? Did I impress you? Did I prove myself yet? And that chase, that endless chase for approval, is killing you. It's draining your power. It's putting your life in someone else's hands. Why do you think so many people feel empty inside, even when they have success on paper? Because they're not living for themselves, they're living for applause, they're addicted to attention. And when the applause fades, when the likes stop, when the people walk away, they're left with nothing. Because they never built themselves, They only borrowed their worth from other people's opinions. That's weakness, and you're not here to be weak. You're here to take your power back. Stop chasing validation. Stop begging people to see you. Stop trying to convince anyone of your value. You don't need permission to matter. You don't need approval to rise. Your value doesn't come from whether they clap for you, whether they notice you, whether they cheer your name. Your value comes from you, your decisions, your growth, your commitment to becoming more every single day. Let me ask you, who are you building your life for right now? Be honest. Are you posting, working, grinding, dressing, talking just to get noticed? Are you letting their attention or their silence dictate your worth? That's prison. That's handing your soul over to someone else's judgment. And that is not where greatness is born. Greatness comes when you stop chasing and you start building. When you say, I'm done begging, I'm done proving, I'm done waiting for someone to clap. I'm going to build myself into someone so strong, so disciplined, so undeniable, that no one can ignore me. Because when you build yourself, your body, your mind, your confidence, your skills, you become undeniable. Not because you screamed louder, not because you begged harder, but because you worked when no one was watching. That's the shift. The person who chases validation is desperate. The person who builds themselves is magnetic. People feel it, they see it, they can't deny it. And the beautiful thing, by the time you've built yourself, you don't even care about their validation anymore. You're not begging them to notice. You've become the kind of person who doesn't need their notice. You respect yourself, and when you respect yourself, the world has no choice but to follow. Think about this. Every single person you admire, every single person you call powerful, they didn't get there by chasing applause. They got there by building themselves when nobody cared. They trained in the dark. They hustled when no one believed. They invested in their mind, their body, their vision. They weren't chasing, they were creating, and because they created relentlessly, eventually the world noticed. And here's the truth. The world will always notice the one who stops chasing, because there's nothing more magnetic than someone who doesn't need approval. You want confidence, stop asking for it, build it. You want respect, stop demanding it, build it. You want love, stop begging for it. Build yourself into the kind of person who radiates so much strength, so much purpose, so much authenticity, that the right people can't help but be drawn to you. But it starts with you. It starts with a decision. I will no longer chase scraps of validation. I will build myself brick by brick. I will do the work when nobody's clapping. I will invest in me. I will respect me. I will grow me until one day they look at me and they can't deny who I've become. Everybody in this room has pain. Every single one of you. Don't lie to yourself. You've been betrayed. You've been rejected. You've been overlooked. You've been hurt. Some of you are carrying wounds from your childhood. Some of you are carrying scars from relationships. Some of you are dragging around the weight of failure. Pain is universal. You can't escape it. You can't run from it. You can't numb it away with distractions, addictions, or excuses. But here's the truth. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is not the thing stopping you. Pain is the fuel. Pain is the raw energy that, if you decide, can build the strongest version of you the world has ever seen. See, most people waste their pain. They complain, they cry, they make it their identity. They tell the same story for years. He left me. They didn't believe in me. I was broke. I was hurt. And you know what? Life doesn't reward complaining. Life doesn't give trophies for victimhood. Pain doesn't leave just because you talk about it. It leaves when you transform it. The difference between the person who rises and the person who stays stuck is not the absence of pain, it's what they do with it. The one who stays stuck lets pain break them. The one who rises decides, I'm going to take this pain and I'm going to turn it into strength. I'm going to use it as a reason, not an excuse. I'm going to let this fire burn away my weakness and reveal my power. Think about it. The most unstoppable people you've ever admired, they didn't have it easy. They weren't born with a free pass. They faced heartbreak, rejection, doubt, ridicule, but instead of complaining, they built. Instead of crying endlessly, they created. They took the very thing that could have destroyed them and used it as jet fuel. That's why they're powerful. Not because they avoided pain, but because they harnessed it. Let me get real with you. Your pain can either chain you or change you. It can either lock you in a prison of self-pity, or it can forge you into a warrior. The choice is yours. Stop asking, why me? Start asking, what am I going to do with this? Because here's the truth, you have two options. Option 1. Complain, stay bitter, stay broken, replay the story of your suffering until you're 80 years old and wonder why nothing changed. Option 2. Flip the script. Take every ounce of that pain and use it to push harder, go deeper, build stronger. Use it to demand more of yourself. Use it to prove that what tried to break you will never define you. Some of you right now are sitting on a gold mine of fuel, and you don't even know it. That heartbreak you went through. That's energy. That failure you faced, that's energy. That betrayal, that disappointment, that struggle, all of it is pure fuel. If you stop wasting it on complaining, and let me tell you, when you use your pain, you don't just build a stronger life, you build a deeper purpose. Because now you're not just creating for yourself. You're creating for every person who said you couldn't. You're creating for every person who doubted you, who laughed at you, who walked away. And when you rise, when you succeed, when you build yourself into something unshakable, your very existence becomes proof that pain can be turned into power. Listen, you don't need an easy life. You don't need perfect circumstances. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You need one thing, to take your pain and decide that it will not define you, it will drive you. That's it. That's the switch. So the next time pain shows up, and it will, don't waste it. Don't complain. Don't collapse. Look it in the eye and say, thank you. Thank you for the fuel. Thank you for the fire. Watch what I build with this. We live in a world where everybody's talking, everybody's posting, everybody's trying to show off their progress before they've even done the real work. You see it all the time. People bragging about their plans, announcing their goals, showing you a little start and calling it success. And then when it gets hard, they disappear. You know why? Because they weren't building for real. They were chasing applause, not building results. Let me tell you something that will change your life. Stop talking about it. Stop posting about it. Stop trying to prove it before it's real. Build in silence. Do the work when nobody's clapping. Grind when nobody's watching. Sweat when there's no recognition. Because when you do that, the results will speak louder than any words ever could. Think about it. When you see someone who's transformed their life completely, who went from broke to successful, from weak to strong, from lost to focused, you don't need their speeches, you don't need their bragging. Their results scream it, their presence radiates it, their life itself is the proof. That's the power of silent building. But here's the trap most people fall into. They're addicted to validation. They want to be seen as on the journey. They want likes, claps, comments, attention. And the second they don't get it, they slow down or quit. That's not building, that's begging. And if you're begging for attention, you'll never own respect. Respect doesn't come from noise. Respect comes from undeniable results. Respect comes when people can't ignore what you've built. And let me remind you, results don't show up overnight. Results require months, years of sweat, sacrifice, and relentless consistency. That's why silence is powerful, because it keeps you focused on the work, not the audience. When you're silent, you're dangerous, because nobody knows your next move. Nobody can sabotage your vision. Nobody can drain your energy with opinions. You're not leaking your power by trying to explain yourself. You're channeling all of it into building. Silence protects your focus. Silence forces you to face the grind. Silence makes the final reveal that much louder. Imagine this. While everyone else is out there talking, proving, posting, flexing, you're in the dark, quietly laying bricks. Every day, another brick. Every day, another brick. No fanfare, no noise, just consistency. And then one day, you step back and there's a damn fortress standing behind you. People look at you and say, where did that come from? And you smile because they didn't see the years of sweat. They didn't see the late nights, the sacrifices, the doubts you crushed. They only see the fortress. That's the noise results make. And I'm telling you, there is nothing more satisfying than shutting mouths with success. There is nothing more powerful than having no need to defend yourself because your results speak louder than any words you could ever say. That's real power. So let me ask you, are you spending more energy proving or more energy building? Are you busy telling people what you're going to do, or are you putting in the hours to actually do it? Because one builds ego, the other builds empires. One feeds your pride, the other feeds your legacy. Drop the need to announce, drop the obsession with being seen, build in silence, do the work when nobody's clapping, master your craft when nobody's watching, and then, when you've built it, when the results are undeniable, let the world witness what silence created. Because here's the truth, the world doesn't respect talkers, the world respects doers, the world doesn't bow to words, it bows to results. And if you want respect, if you want impact, if you want to shake the ground you stand on, you've got to build silently until your results are so loud they can't be ignored. So make this decision right now. Stop proving, start building. Stop talking, start creating. Stop chasing applause, start chasing mastery. And when you finally rise, and you will, the noise your results make will be louder than anything you could ever say. Your energy is everything. Listen to me. Your energy is the magnet that attracts or repels everything in your life. The people you meet, the opportunities that show up, the results you create. It all flows from the state you live in. You can have all the strategies in the world. You can have the talent, the tools, the plans. But if your energy is drained, negative, and scattered, you'll never execute. You'll sabotage before you even begin. But when your energy is alive, when you're lit up, when you're charged, when you're vibrating at a higher level, you become unstoppable. People feel it before you even speak. You walk into a room and people lean in because your energy speaks louder than your words. That's why protecting your energy, growing your energy, and using your energy with intention is the most important thing you can do. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Your energy is being stolen every single day. By toxic people, by distractions, by scrolling endlessly on a phone that feeds your mind garbage, by worrying about people who don't matter, situations you can't control, and judgments that don't belong to you. Every time you feed those things, you leak energy, and then you wonder why you're exhausted, why you feel stuck, why nothing is moving forward. You've got to protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Your future, your goals, your relationships, your health, they all depend on the state you live in. So ask yourself right now, who or what has been draining your energy, and are you ready to cut it off? Protecting your energy doesn't mean isolating yourself from the world. It means choosing wisely what you allow in. It means saying no to things that pull you down, even if it's uncomfortable. It means surrounding yourself with people who light a fire under you instead of people who throw water on your flame. But protection alone isn't enough. You've got to grow your energy, and that starts with your body. Move it every day. Feed it fuel, not poison. Get rest, but don't live in laziness. Your physiology creates your psychology. You want more energy? Then breathe deeper, move stronger, eat cleaner, and demand more from yourself physically. Because when your body is on fire, your mind follows. And let's talk about your focus. Because where focus goes, energy flows. If you focus on problems, you magnify them. If you focus on fear, you feed it. If you focus on failure, you multiply it. But if you focus on possibility, on gratitude, on growth, you explode your energy. That's the switch. Energy is not just physical. It's mental, emotional, and spiritual. Grow it by feeding your mind powerful ideas, feeding your heart with gratitude, feeding your soul with purpose. Now here's the final piece. Use your energy. Don't hoard it. Don't let it sit stagnant. Energy unused becomes wasted potential. Energy must be directed into action, into creation, into building something that matters. Don't just get hyped up for no reason. Channel that energy into execution. That's how momentum is born. That's how results are created. That's how lives are transformed. You've seen people who are brilliant, but they never move because their energy is flat. And you've seen people with average resources but insane energy, and they blow past everyone else. That's proof energy wins. The one with the most resourceful energy will outwork, outlast, and outcreate everyone around them. So here's my challenge to you. Take control of your energy today. Protect it from what drains you. Grow it through your body, your focus, your habits, and then unleash it into action. Do that, and you will not just attract opportunities, you'll create them. You'll pull people into your life who align with your mission. You'll make results inevitable. Your energy is your magnet. If you're attracting the wrong things, check your energy. If you're not attracting anything at all, check your energy. Because the life you get is a reflection of the energy you live in every single day. Protect it, grow it, use it, and watch how the world begins to move in your favor. Distraction is the silent killer of dreams. It doesn't attack you head on. It doesn't come with alarms or warnings. It sneaks in quietly, steals your focus, and drains your power before you even realize it. And then you look around and wonder why you're not where you want to be, why you feel stuck, why the gap between who you are and who you want to be keeps getting wider. Let me tell you something, you're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not unworthy. The truth is, your power is being leaked, piece by piece, to distractions that don't deserve a second of your life. Every time you scroll mindlessly for an hour, you leak power. Every time you check your phone the second you wake up, you leak power. Every time you feed on gossip, drama, negativity, you leak power. Every time you say yes to things that don't move you forward, you leak power. And here's the thing, it's not just the big distractions. It's the little ones, the just for a minute ones, the I'll get back to it later ones. Those tiny leaks add up until you've got nothing left to give the things that actually matter. Focus is your weapon. It's the most valuable resource you have. If you can lock in, if you can cut through the noise, if you can channel every ounce of your energy into what matters most, you become unstoppable. That's when you stop playing small. That's when you stop spinning your wheels. That's when progress becomes inevitable. But most people live their lives scattered, constantly reacting to everything around them instead of deciding what deserves their attention. You've got to flip the script. You've got to take your power back. That starts with owning your focus. Focus is not something you wait to feel. Focus is something you create. You decide what gets your attention and what doesn't. You decide what's worthy of your time. You decide who gets access to your energy, and if you don't decide, trust me, the world will decide for you. Social media will decide. Notifications will decide. Other people's agendas will decide. And you'll spend your life building someone else's dream instead of your own. So how do you stop leaking power? You build walls around your focus. You create boundaries. You train yourself like an athlete to guard your attention like it's gold. Because it is. You don't need to do 100 things well. You need to do the few things that matter with relentless precision. Ask yourself right now, what are the top 2 or 3 things that if I focused on them consistently would completely change my life? What's the one thing that if I mastered it would make everything else easier or unnecessary? That's where your focus belongs. Everything else is noise. And don't tell me you don't have time. You have time. You are just giving it away to distractions, to people who don't deserve it, to habits that don't serve you. Cut them out, rip them out, replace them with rituals that feed your growth, wake up with clarity, set your priorities before the world interrupts, create an environment that eliminates temptation, turn off the notifications, close the doors, silence the noise. And when it's time to work, attack it like your life depends on it, because it does. Focus is your weapon because it multiplies everything you touch. With focus, an hour of effort can do what 10 distracted hours can't. With focus, you accelerate results. With focus, you build momentum, and momentum creates breakthroughs. Think about it. The greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the world changers, they're not just talented. They're focused. They've mastered the art of saying no. They've trained themselves to keep their eyes locked on the mission, no matter how loud the world gets. That's why they win. So stop giving away your power. Stop living scattered. Stop letting distractions decide your future. Pick up your weapon, your focus, and point it at the life you want. When you do, everything begins to shift. The world will always try to pull you off course. But you don't have to take the bait. You can rise above the noise. You can reclaim your power. You can direct every ounce of your energy into becoming the person you were born to be. Focus is your weapon. Use it or lose it. You don't need their approval. You don't need their applause. You don't need their permission to live the life you were born to live. Too many people are walking around with chains on their soul because they're addicted to validation. They're waiting for someone else to say, "You're good enough, you're ready, you're worthy." And while they wait, their dreams die. Approval is a trap. The moment you start chasing it, you hand your power over to people who don't even know what's best for themselves, let alone what's best for you. You become a puppet to their opinions, their judgments, their expectations, and the worst part, their approval is never enough. Even if they clap today, they'll question you tomorrow. Even if they cheer for you now, they'll doubt you later. You can't win that game, but here's the truth: your growth, your actual progress, your real transformation, is louder than their approval will ever be. When you grow, when you elevate, when you build yourself, you don't need to argue with anyone. You don't need to convince them. You don't need to beg them to see your worth, because results speak louder than words. Growth speaks louder than gossip. Discipline speaks louder than doubt. Stop wasting your energy trying to silence the noise of critics. You don't silence them by talking back. You silence them by outgrowing them. You silence them by becoming someone they can't even reach anymore. When you grow, when you level up, you change the game. Suddenly, the people who used to criticize you fall silent because your progress speaks for itself. Suddenly, the same people who doubted you start asking you for advice. Suddenly, the same voices that told you you can't do it are forced to face the reality you already did. That's the power of growth. It doesn't argue, it doesn't explain, it doesn't beg for recognition, it just shows. But growth doesn't happen by accident. You have to be intentional. You have to stop pouring energy into chasing approval and start pouring it into building yourself. Instead of scrolling for likes, study. Instead of waiting for someone to say good job, keep grinding. Instead of listening to critics, invest in your craft. When you do that, when you show up every day, when you stack discipline upon discipline, you become undeniable. And I know sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it feels lonely when nobody claps for you, when nobody notices, when nobody says, "I'm proud of you." But let me tell you something. That silence is the birthplace of greatness. That's where champions are forged. That's where resilience is built. When nobody is watching, when nobody is validating you, that's when you decide if you're serious. Because if you only move when they clap, you'll stop the moment they go quiet. But if you move because you're hungry, because you're committed, because you're building for you, then nothing can stop you. Every time you grow, every time you push past the old version of yourself, every time you refuse to settle, you're making a statement louder than any approval could ever be. You're saying, "I don't need your validation, because my results will do the talking." And let me tell you something powerful. The people who are truly winning in life don't have time to criticize you. The ones throwing stones, the ones laughing, the ones doubting, they're not building, they're not growing, they're not focused on their future. You don't need to join them. You don't need to fight them. You need to outgrow them. Growth is the revenge. Growth is the answer. Growth is the freedom. When you grow, you separate yourself from the noise. You rise above it. You outlast it. And suddenly the noise fades, not because it stopped, but because you're too far ahead to hear it.